Good morning. Since taking office in 2018, I made police accountability a priority. In fact, January of 2019, I unveiled our tools for trust to ensure that there was more transparency and accountability the way that we protect and serve our public. One of those tools was body cameras. When I took office, not a single police officer in the city of Paterson was wearing a body camera. Now, every police officer in the city of Paterson is wearing a body camera. And the body cameras have helped us ensuring that there's increased accountability and transparency. In fact, there have been officers who've been caught violating the law, and we were able to take appropriate action based on body camera footage. We also launched a complete audit of the police department to find out how we can improve policing in the city as well. We've also engaged the Rutgers Center on Policing in ways that we can also improve policing in Paterson, and we visited Omaha to learn about a program to help improve the relationship between the police and the public. But today we're talking about redefining police accountability in Paterson, besides a body camera, besides a complete comprehensive audit of the department. We want to address officers who made the wrong type of headlines here in Paterson, who are convicted of betraying the public trust, convicted of violating the law. They have been referred to in the media as the robbery squad. These are rogue police officers that unfortunately brought shame to the department and the badges that they once wore. Our contention is that these officers who were convicted and sentenced and imprisoned should return the money back to the taxpayers. Money that they did not earn, because quite frankly, we place a premium on the fact that people get an honest day's pay for an honest day's work. Well, quite frankly, the officers were convicted of is clearly not an honest day's work, so they don't deserve an honest day's pay. So today we're announcing that we are forcing the supervisor of that squad to return the money back to the taxpayers of Paterson. This has been spearheaded by our corporation counsel, who made it a point to make this a priority, make sure that there is some level of justice for the taxpayers. And so at this time, we're going to yield to our corporation counsel, Aymen Aboushi, who will elaborate further on what is being done to get our money back.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to start off by thanking the Mayor for supporting this initiative, as well as Councilman Velez and the Council. I'd also like to thank my first assistant, Dominic Stampone, and Assistant Corporation Counsel, Oscar Escobar. Today, we announced that we achieved a settlement with defendant Chef to repay salary in the amount of $200,000 to the city. Today marks an unprecedented and speedy action to recoup funds paid to officers who were convicted of crimes related to their duties. Today, we deliver our financial and moral victory to our residents. Today's actions are not only unprecedented in action, but also in the size and scope of what we were able to achieve. We pursued claims against various officers convicted of crimes that touched upon their duties. And this precedent will not only resonate here in the city, but throughout the state. Essentially, we've come up with a game plan there that other cities and municipalities in this state can use to pursue officers who violate the law while wearing their badge. One of the claims that we pursued was one for unjust enrichment, and the city made the argument that these officers were unjustly enriched when they committed unlawful acts while on duty and being paid with taxpayer funds. Today, as a result of the action of this city, the law department, with the assistance of counsel, were able to announce a victory in that claim. I know that this victory was achieved with relative speed. Less than a year ago, we stood at this podium and announced this action. Today, we announce a resolution. Now, this action sought to balance the injustice done to this city, its residents, and fellow officers who day in and day out put their lives on the line and do what is asked of them. When we filed this action, many people reached out to me. We had members of the community reach out to me, members from the city reach out to me, and members of our law enforcement reach out and cheer this action because they wanted these officers to be held accountable. These officers tarnish the badge and put good officers who day in and day out do the tough work in this city in a very precarious position. This settlement of $200,000 sends a clear message. If you violate your oath, we will hold you accountable. You will lose your job. We will pursue you financially and take every step necessary to ensure that the public is made whole. Now, I have here today, and I shared with the mayor, a copy of the settlement agreement and a check from defendant Chef to enact this settlement agreement. We look forward to presenting this matter further. And again, I thank the mayor for his time and supporting us in this endeavor. Thank you.
Corporation Counsel, I thank you for your leadership and for your steadfast insistence upon bringing a positive resolution for Paterson taxpayers in this matter. Speaking of taxpayers, on our city council, we have an advocate, and he represents the 5th Ward. He is our councilman, Louis A. Velez.
The A means accountability, action. So every time we're in the council and trying to settle cases for the behalf of the city, we all council members ask our own question. When are we going to go after those that owns taxpayers, especially when they do something that is not in favor of the residents or the law? You know, this is innovation, administrative innovation. I say it this way because they asked us, what are we going to do? So this innovation will create a conscious to those that work for the city to protect us. You know, bringing this forward make us happy because we could use this fund for other things that benefit the community and the taxpayers. So if you're going to do something like the song says, bad boy, we're going to come after you, whatever, we're here to take action to those that have tried to put the morale of the police down. We're here to lift the morale of the police up and making sure that we work together for the safety of the people. Damas y caballeros, hoy ha sido un día muy especial para la comunidad de Paterson, especialmente aquellas personas que contribuyen a nuestra ciudad, a los impuestos, a los que verdaderamente contribuyen para mantener nuestra ciudad segura. Esto es un mensaje para aquellos que dicen que no hacemos nada, de cómo vamos a recuperar los fondos de aquellas personas que se han portado mal, que han deshonrado a la policía de Paterson. Es tiempo de que paguen también lo que injustamente se llevaron como oficial de la policía. So, I just want to say that in Spanish, so just in case my friends from Telemundo Univision take it. But it's trust. It's building trust. And I think that that's what we're here for. So to build the trust and make that relation a strong one for the city of Paterson. Thank you, Mayor, for counting always with the council. Thank you, Corporation Counsel, and your staff that said you are on board. We could see the fair judgment to all of us, to the taxpayers and to the city workers and the city of Paterson. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to dovetail on something Councilman Velez raised, a very salient point relative to the fact that Paterson is a cash-strapped city. So we can use every money, all the money we can get to help our residents. $200,000 can go a long way. But I think we've come a long way relative to taking this unprecedented action. Because I want to let the Paterson Police Department know that I believe in you. I've always believed in you. But we want the public to believe in you too. And the actions of so few officers should not put a permanent stain on the police department. We want the confidence of the community, and we are confident that the action that we're taking now will help restore that confidence, will help restore that trust, and let people know your government stands by you and will never tolerate any foul play within the police department, and that we will always demand transparency and accountability when it comes to policing in Paterson. Thank you, and now we'll open. Jay, you're
Mayor,
first.
a request and a question. First, would you be able to just hold up that check for all of us, please?
Yes, sir.
Don't shoot to that.
Maybe a little bit lower there.
Oh, I don't want you to see my face. I had a bad hair day.
And a question. What is the source of these funds? Is Chef making it directly? If so, how was he able to make that restitution?
I'm going to yield to the Corporation Counsel because he has the intimate details.
Yes, thank you for that question. So our agreement with Mr. Chef is that he is cutting a bank check to the city of Paterson. In addition to that, he is forfeiting a substantial amount of salary and benefits that might be due to him. And finally, given his current situation in which he's incarcerated, we've agreed to work out a payment plan to allow him to make payments to the city. Just to ensure that the city is protected, we were also able to obtain a confession of judgment, so that if one of those payments are missed, the city need not go to court and relitigate this entire matter. The court can enter a judgment against Mr. Schultz.
So you have $200,000 from him already?
No.
Okay.
No. What we have is, he's agreed to forfeit approximately $50,000 in salary and benefits that would be due to him. He's also agreed to, and has issued a check to the city for $15,000, and the remaining balance will be paid to the city over the course of a payment plan. And we thought this was fair and equitable given his current situation and incarceration.
So is this, can you just ask me, is this money that he was paid, or do you think that this is money that him and his crew got by doing their ill-gotten acts while he was incarcerated?
Our allegations and what we pled in the complaint was this was salary that he received throughout the course of this event.
And that being salary from the time he was arrested, I guess suspended, and then the court process?
Yes, that's correct.
So he had this money in the bank?
He was paid this money by the city.
He had those funds in a bank account, you were able to seize those funds?
No, we did not seize those funds. What we did is we reached an agreement with Mr. Chef and his attorneys such that he would be paying this money back to the city, forfeit salary and benefits that the city would have possibly been obligated to pay him, and then continue on with the payments.
So you're just effectively garnishing his paycheck?
In so many words.
Now, wait a minute, this was a crew though, right? This was a crew of cops that were involved in these activities.
Yes, that's
Why
right.
was one of the officers and not the whole crew having to pay back? Or were they paid like he was while the investigation was underway?
And working off that, it was $400,000 that settled in one for 2 years.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. And so to elaborate on that, Mr. Chef was a supervisor of these group of individuals. We have pursued action against these other individuals. 3 of those individuals, the city has been able to obtain a default against, and we'll be moving for default judgment. One of those individuals, we are having ongoing discussions about possibly resolving it and obtaining payment from the city. And a third individual, a fourth individual, we've also received a default against them as well.
So how much money have you been able to collect that's in Paterson's coffers as of right now?
As of right now, approximately $65,000.
And beyond the 200,000, will there be, as the remaining members of this group, as it's settled, will there be more?
Yes, we fully expect $200,000 to be the minimum. We will continue to pursue the officers that we've been able to obtain a default against, pursue that to judgment. We are in discussions with one police officer about possibly resolving it and having monies paid to the city immediately. But we will not rest until all the money that we have recouped on behalf of the
What
taxpayers.
does this message send to road police officers? I mean, ultimately, we figured out a way to get the money back that they take. But what does it say to anybody that they think about doing rogue activity?
Well, I think this sends a message not only here in Paterson, and again, the vast majority do an outstanding job and deserve every cent that they're being paid and probably deserve more. But I think this sends a message to not only officers in Paterson, but all over the state. If you engage in this sort of conduct while you're wearing your uniform, Paterson and other municipalities now have a game plan to pursue every cent that you were paid while on duty and while on leave and while your criminal charges are pending, and hopefully provides a disincentive for officers to engage in that sort of action.
And Anthony, to your question, just to reiterate what I started off by saying, that is a priority of ours. Increased transparency and police accountability with the body cameras, the audit, and now taking this unprecedented action, which I believe now serves as a victory for the taxpayers of Paterson. Jay.
Yeah, so you have the state here overseeing the police department. You've gone on record, we know that you're not happy about that. Do you think that this goes a long way in reasserting yourself and your administration in regaining control of the police department sooner rather than later?
Well, that's yet to be determined because they've asked for an extension, the Attorney General, as far as filing their brief is concerned. But like I stated, Jay, thanks for that question. Yeah, I mean, I'm duly elected mayor twice, large margins, and quite frankly, back in January of 2019, I had a press conference here talking about identifying areas where we can improve policing in Paterson, increase transparency and accountability. And that's why we're here today, to let people know that we have fulfilled what we said back in January we would do, increase transparency and accountability in Paterson. That was 2019. Any additional questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.